Have you ever met someone who was smart with money but bankrupt in their soul? Jesus tells a story about a man just like that. He was a successful farmer who had the best harvest of his life, bigger than he'd ever dreamed, and a plan to expand his barns and live on Easy Street. From a business perspective, he was brilliant. From an eternal perspective, he was bankrupt. Jesus shocks us with his verdict. Thou fool. How can a man who had everything together in life be such a fool in the eyes of God? That's what we're exploring today, the story of the rich farmer, a man that I would like to call the shrewd fool. Before we talk about the shrewd fool today, let me make you aware of our upcoming announcements. We have a big weekend planned at Harvest Church Humboldt. We are so honored to have Reverend Wayne Huntley ministering for us at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. On Sunday night. So make sure that you're making plans to be with us. It's Sunday morning at 10 a.m., Sunday night at 5 p.m., October the 12th. It's going to be a big day. I know Monday is Columbus Day. I know the Tuesday night we do have our family prayer, at 7 p.m., Tuesday night the 14th. And then Wednesday night, I am going to finish up a message that I began last week entitled The Finished Work of the Cross. So we'll do part 2 of that message coming up Wednesday night the 15th at 7 p.m. Thursday morning is at 10 a.m. is Ladies' Prayer. You do not want to miss these events. If you want to know more about our church, go to the website, harvesthumboldt.com. Jesus' parables always land uncomfortably close to our lives. This one in Luke 12, verses 16 through 21 is no different. The rich farmer isn't a villain in a movie. He's not some shady Wall Street crook. He's a hardworking man who had a good year. His ground produced abundantly. He didn't rob, cheat, or steal. He simply did what farmers do: sow, reap, and store. And yet, Jesus calls him a fool. Why? Because success in this life can blind us to reality in the next. We live in a culture that celebrates the rich farmer's mindset. Upgrade the house, build the bigger barn, stack up savings, and secure a comfortable future. But Jesus, he rips off the mask and reveals the truth. All that security can disappear in a single night. This isn't just about a farmer in an ancient field. To be honest, this is about me, and this is about you. Let's give the man his credit. He was shrewd. He saw the problem. I have no room to store my crops. He had a plan. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. He was forward-looking. I'll have enough stored up for years. He knew what he wanted: eat, drink, and be merry. In today's world, we would call him a visionary. He thought big. He scaled up. He was the kind of guy the local news might feature as Entrepreneur of the Year. But Jesus don't weigh shrewdness by, our standards. He looks at eternity. The man had plans for years, but he didn't have plans for tomorrow. And Jesus rarely used the word fool. In fact, he warned us not to call others fools, but here he himself uses it with holy precision. Why? Because in God's dictionary, foolishness is not measured by IQ, net worth, or even degrees. Foolishness is living as though God doesn't exist. It's practical atheism, giving lip service to faith while structuring our life with no room for him. The farmer's greatest crop wasn't his gain. It was his pride. He said, my barns, my fruits, my goods, my soul. 6 times in 2 verses, he uses the words I, me, or my. He thought the farm was his. He thought the future was his. He thought his soul was his. But God said, this night your soul will be required of you. The truth? His soul wasn't his. It was God's all along. Jesus sums up the parable with the punchline: so is he that lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. So the real poverty isn't in empty barns. It's in empty hearts. Think of it like this. The man was rich in soil, but poor in soul. Rich in barns, but poor in eternity. Rich in harvest, but poor in gratitude. rich in planting, but poor in preparation for death. Being rich toward God means living with Him at the center, using every blessing as a tool for His kingdom, and recognizing that true wealth is eternal. So let's be honest. The rich farmer, he's still alive and well today. He's the person who works endless overtime to climb the ladder, but neglects prayer. Dreams about the next investment, but never invests in the souls of their children. Measures success in square footage and bank balances, but he has no altar at home. Says, I've got time, while ignoring the reality that Scripture tells us life is but a vapor. Our barns look like retirement accounts, houses and cars and reputations. None of these are evil, but they can become dangerous when they become our definition of security. Every time we say, I'll get serious about God later, we echo the rich fool's words, I've got many years stored up, but God may say, this night. Let's pause here. Jesus doesn't condemn wealth. Scripture never demonizes money itself. In fact, Abraham was wealthy. I just preached about it recently. Job was wealthy twice. Lydia in Acts 16 was wealthy, and she used it for ministry. The difference is whether wealth is a tool or a treasure. A tool blesses others. It funds the kingdom. It relieves suffering and multiplies the gospel. A treasure rules your heart, defines your worth, and promises a security that it can never deliver. The farmer's sin was not farming. It was idolatry of self. His barns became his temple. His harvest became his God. Notice what Luke records. He thought within himself. If you want to know a person, listen to their inner dialogue. What do you think when you're alone? That's going to reveal who you really are. Did he think, how can I use this abundance to bless my workers? No. Did he think, how can I honor God with this increase? No. Did he think, how can I invest in eternity? No. Instead, he thought only of self. No gratitude, no worship, no prayer, just bigger barns and personal ease. My friends, that's what made him a fool. God's interruption is terrifying when he says, this night your soul shall be required of you. One breath, that's the line between plenty of years and no tomorrow. James 4:14 says our life is a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. Imagine the shock. One moment he's sketching blueprints for barns. The next he's standing before God with nothing to show but barns full of grain that couldn't follow him into eternity. The barns stayed, but the soul left. So what does it mean to live the opposite of this farmer, to be wise instead of foolish? Well, Jesus tells us to be rich toward God. Here's what that looks like. Gratitude. Every blessing must drive us to thankfulness. A true believer says, this is the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. It also looks like generosity. Instead of building bigger barns and building bigger tables, share with those in need. Fund missions. Invest in eternal things. It also looks like God-centered planning. Make your plans with prayer. If the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that, James said, say. And then the last one is an eternal perspective. Hold everything loosely. Your houses, your cars, the promotions you have, all of that is temporary. Only what is done for Christ will last. You ever heard that before? This isn't a story about those greedy rich people. It's really a story about every single one of us. You don't need barns to fall into the same trap. You just need to live as if God's not the central part of your life. The student who spends all energy chasing grades but no time in prayer can become the rich fool. The parent who provides luxuries but not faith can be the rich fool. The minister who builds platforms but not altars can be the rich fool. The good news, we don't have to live or die like this man. Jesus points us to himself, the one who became poor so that we might be rich in him. True wealth is not in barns, but it's actually in Jesus Christ. So what about you? Are you chasing bigger barns or building a bigger altar? Are you investing in temporary gains or eternal treasure? Jesus doesn't want you to be a shrewd fool. He wants you to be a wise worshiper, rich toward God and ready for eternity. If you would like to know more about Harvest Church, go to our website, harvesthumboldt.com. You can write us at harvesthumboldt@gmail.com or through the mail, 3401 Bledsoe Road, Humboldt, Tennessee, 38343. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Harvest Focus. Remember, at Harvest, our mission is simple. We want to focus on God, focus on people, and focus on the harvest. Until next time, keep your heart steady, your hands ready, and your focus on the harvest.